Fat 45 surrogates who should be quarantining have hit the campaign trail. More than a dozen Republican politicians, lawmakers, and their staff have tested positive for the coronavirus, including Fat 45, who had at the time remained in isolation. He's not now, and he was undergoing experimental treatment for the potentially fatal virus. The top general in the U.S. military isn't quarantining the GOP-controlled Senate's ability to fast-track the confirmation of Fat 45 Supreme Court nominee is in doubt. The White House outbreak threatens the lives of service workers and Secret Service agents who work in close proximity to the more powerful, potentially contagious bosses. It may also reverse Washington's progress in combating the pandemic. On Monday, the city recorded a spike in new coronavirus cases and a jump in the test positivity rate. The chaos in the nation's capital appears to have stemmed from a reckless in-person political ceremony at the White House on September 26, an event consistent with the Fat 45's campaign months-long practice of holding in-person Klan rallies and gatherings with limited coronavirus protections, if any. Even as new people linked to the White House test positive for COVID-19 each day, the Fat 45 campaign shows little concern about limiting the spread of the virus. On Thursday, several of Fat 45's family members, advisors, and surrogates who had been around the Fat Ass before he tested positive for COVID-19 are scheduled to travel around the country to appear at Klan rallies. The vice squatter Dumbass Pence, who's the head of the White House's coronavirus task force, is planning to travel to Nevada and Arizona. He had traveled to Nevada and Arizona on that Thursday for back-to-back Make America Hate Again rallies, the Klan rallies anyway, at an airplane hangar and a military and police gear manufacturer. Later that day, the Fat Ass's son, Dumbass Eric, will host two Klan rallies, one in North Carolina, while his brother other brother Dumbass Jr. hosts an event in Panama City Beach, Florida, at a Holiday Inn. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, and Fat 45 campaign advisor Corey Lewandowski will also be in Florida, hosting an event at a Veterans of Foreign Wars post in Naples. That evening, Fat 45 campaign advisors Katrina Pearson and Mercedes Schlapp and the dumb skank Lara, who was the ugly fucker Eric's wife, so-called wife anyway, will appear at a Woman for Fat 45 bus tour event at the New Englander Banquet Center in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Each of those events features campaign surrogates who, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines, should be in quarantine, but they're not quarantining. Dumbass Pence attended the September 26th Supreme Court nomination ceremony for the dumb cunt Amy Coney Barrett. At least 11 people who attended the ceremony, including Fat 45, have since tested positive for the virus. 3 days later, Dumbass Jr., Pearson, Schlapp, Eric, and his dumb cunt of a wife, Lara, attended the squatter roll debate in Cleveland, where members of the Fat Ass's family and some of his aides were seen ignoring mask requirements inside their hotel and at the debate venue. The debate has been linked to at least 11 coronavirus cases, according to the city of Cleveland, and the next day, Noam attended a fundraiser that Fat 45 appeared at in Minneapolis. Fat 45 announced about 1 a.m. Friday that he had tested positive for the coronavirus, although his own doctor's description of the timeline suggests he may have been diagnosed as early as last Wednesday. And the day of the Minneapolis fundraiser, Fat 45's doctor has refused to provide the date of the Fat Ass's last negative test result. The upcoming Fat 45 campaign events are scheduled, basically the Klan rallies are scheduled for just 8 days after the fundraiser, 9 days after the squatter roll debate, and 12 days after the Supreme Court nomination ceremony. The CDC recommends that people who come into close contact with someone diagnosed with the coronavirus, they should be self-quarantining for 2 weeks, even if they do not experience symptoms and their tests come back negative. Tests aren't always accurate, and asymptomatic carriers of COVID-19 can unwittingly spread the disease without knowing it. The Fat 45 campaign did not respond to an email asking when the people hosting Fat 45's Thursday campaign, when they last interacted with Fat 45 or anyone else who had tested positive for the coronavirus. The campaign also did not respond to a question about what safety precautions will be in place at the events to protect the attendees and staff. The event pages on the campaign's website do not advise attendees to wear masks or practice social distancing, although they do include a disclosure that by registering for the event, individuals forfeit their right to sue if they contact COVID-19. Dumbass Pence's physician released a memo on Tuesday claiming that the vice squatter does not need to quarantine because he doesn't have symptoms, and he has tested negative and is not a close contact with any individuals who have tested positive. Dumbass Pence was seated directly in front of Senator Mike Lee, of a Republican of Utah who had tested positive at the Supreme Court nomination ceremony. Despite his risk of infection, Fat 25 and the Dumbass Pence have faulted even modest efforts to mitigate the risk of the COVID-19 transmission, including opposing the use of plexiglass barriers at the vice squatter debate that had already happened on Wednesday. The Fat 25 campaign didn't want the vice squatter surrounded by plexiglass. Debate Commission co-chairman Frank Kopf Jr. told the Washington Post they didn't want to have him in what looks like a box. But still, if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, Ryan Mike, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out, and thanks for listening.